Meme Machine versus Game of Thrones.
Dude, that's a creative name right there.
Game of Thrones? Yeah.
Sure, they thought really hard about it. Shouldn't make fun of them.
I'm not making fun of them.
Which, for those who don't know, Game of Thrones is actually the host of this tournament.
At least one of them, yeah. Todd Fawx.
Todd Fawx.
Woo! My bad. Woo! All right, we're good. Getting into this. All right.
Kicked off, banned. We need a new third caster, please.
Oh my bad. Oh, man.
Anyone from chat will do.
All right, Pyro, I'll go ahead and take it from here. Hey guys, I'll be lucky coming right back at you with the.
All right, man. All right.
Take some ban.
All right, but let's go ahead and get into this draft. So
you
just gonna
start.
go for it,
All right. Mean Machine bans Clunk. That is probably the most interesting first ban I think I've ever seen in my entire life. Just saying.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think the logic I'm seeing here is we're on Ag. I don't play this game very often.
Hello?
That's it.
That's
You
it?
don't play this game often? That's it?
You cut out there, Celsi. Is he still here? Hello?
All right.
Hello?
We're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. It's all right.
All right,
We'll do it live.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you're still here, Celsi, but you totally cut out. You just said, I don't play this game very often, and that was it. That's all I said. But I'll just keep it moving, I guess. But yeah, it's I think Clunk on Agalon. I don't think people in pubs like seeing that on Agalon just because it's a Clunk snare bite into explode. It can be really, really devastating. But again, it's kind of like coming from the pub mindset.
I have some new information coming in from Twitch chat. I just realized that Roach Cake is on the Game of Thrones team, so I believe that they were just scared of Roach Cake.
That's actually extremely valuable intel.
Exactly. He's infamous for his Clunk, so that makes a little bit more sense to me. All right, but let's keep going. So Sentry, your second ban. A Frog pick first for Mean Machine. Another interesting choice since Frog can get countered pretty easily.
Yeah.
Letting Penny through is kind of a killer. But I mean, they didn't ban Penny first on Game of Thrones side because obviously they wanted to pick them. I don't know if they knew Mean Machine wouldn't want to pick Penny, but I think it worked out in their favor.
Yeah, overall, and just kind of getting through like the picks. They picked Coco, which I think is an okay pick. I mean, they did get to double pick Penny and Swiggins at the same time based on how the drafting system works, and I think that itself is pretty strong. They did let a couple. They didn't really know what the other two picks on the other side were gonna be though. So Swiggins into like that's an okay pick, but Swiggins can still be pretty easily countered by some things. And the one thing I wanted to point out actually is that the last pick on the Meme Machine side is Lux, and that to me, I'm kind of on the fence about that one honestly, because Lux, I'm a big fan of Lux. It's one of my, frankly, I feel like one of my stronger knots. But at the same time, I only go him when there's not really much counter, much answer to him. So like, they already knew that Penny and Swiggins were on that side, and frankly, those are both answers to Lux, if I'm going to be honest. And picking those guys against that seems off, and then just finally throwing it off with a final Ted pick from Game of Thrones, I think it's going to be a rough match for at least Lux. The other two might be able to get away with it, but Swiggins reducing a lot of mobility from Coco and Frog, which is their biggest benefit, I feel, is also might be a rough side. So, I mean, if we want to just talk about like who won the draft, I would kind of give it to Game of Thrones in this case, honestly.
I actually agree with you, but I think Mean Machine with the Coco and the Lux is kind of those characters can't really go super wrong. Like we've talked to 9volt before, and he always like his mantra, I guess, is that the right word, for drafting is like, if you third pick Lux, there's nothing you can really pick him into that will like totally destroy him. So I think if you can outplay the other team hard enough, Mean Machine can totally win this. But comp wise, I think Game of Thrones wins.
I agree. Game of Thrones wins my vote here.
All right, then.
It's time to go to the actual game.
Yeah, let's go and get going then.
All right, guys, I'm here just for that casual countdown again. So, counting down for my own match here. I hope we win. Best of luck, my team. So on the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and action. All right, bye.
So red team, we have Roach Cake on Swiggins, since Clunk was banned. We've got Snipely on Ted, the pirate skin, which I used to like, but I don't really anymore.
Whose team is this man on? I don't see a GOT. Ooh. Snipely.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Where's
he's
his
just
tag?
he's
What
just
the heck?
Snipely. The heck, dude? That's like #1 thing in tourneys. You gotta go
It's too cool
hard
for
with
that,
the
let's be
tags.
honest. And then
Yeah,
we've
good
got
tags.
just Fawx, not Todd Fox, might I point out, as Penny, obviously.
The one and only.
Yeah.
You wanna-
My greatest rival.
Someone else do blue team because none of them have a tag, and I'm just completely lost on what team they are.
All right.
That is.
But talk. Yeah,
I'll
let's
do
just talk about some opening items, I guess. So nothing too revolutionary, anything crazy like that. Octa coming on Swiggins, pretty standard. Herring Snipe Badge on a Penny, and Stun Pack coming out on Ted. I do want to point out that Jimmy did piggy into Danger Pins,
I
and
know how you feel about that.
yeah, I mean, like, because at that point, if you get a good drop, you're sitting at around 190 soul or something like that. So you're off about 20-25 soul to get danger pins because it's 215. I'm not really a fan of pigging for 20 soul. I mean, I have that same philosophy on Scolder, but
Scolder's a little bit worse though, because you're picking for like 10 solar.
yeah. So I mean, that is the thing. But I mean, Jimmy can get away without a third utility, and I mean, if they're going for a short game, trying to play this a little more aggressive, it's okay. But I honestly don't really like doing that myself too much, honestly. But other than that, just cooldown coming out on ball, so going to be a lot of poke damage hopefully coming from that side, and a mutant ninja worms also coming from that. And there's a team fight over there, and they're right there. Ooh. I don't know if that was an intentional airstrike to read that chart, but it was good nonetheless.
Wow,
It
don't
wasn't
give Snipely credit for that at all. I mean, Snipely, I felt that airstrike from here. I thought it was fantastic.
I don't know. It seemed...
Good job, dude.
That is going to be a 1 kill for the red team on the Lux right there, so that's going to be a little bit of an advantage right there. And there's the...
Let me just ignore this anchor.
Yeah, one of those things.
Not
The Swing Anchor has gone through so many changes, especially recently, and that's its most recent iteration where like if the anchor doesn't have line of sight with the person it's hooked, it just doesn't exist, basically. But that's something besides the point. Penny going to be picking up Invis right there. It's going to be interesting to see who gets Invis, because I mean, obviously, I think on the red side they're going to be hoping for Swiggins to get Invis, and on the blue side they're going to be hoping for Lux to get Invis. I think those are the best initiators. But Coco's just going to end up burning that Invis, not really finding any opportunity to actually use it properly, I feel. And,
I think Roach Cake's really trying to make these initiations happen, but like no one else in the game really is. Like so far, 3 minutes in, there have been team fights both initiated by Roach Cake. But other than that, the teams are just kind of dancing around each other and clearing droids.
Yeah, I think it is going to be, so far it's going to be a little bit more of a passive play. Oh, Snipely is going to be going down right there, actually. Nice kind of initiation, catching him out.
Notice Lux went right into lifesteal on AA. Like, he's just wanting to survive right now, honestly.
Yeah, I think that 1 kill on him did kind of put an impact on him, I would say. And there's going to be a little bit of initiation right there on Roach Cake. He is alone out here. Everyone teleported back or is dead. He's going to manage to get Invis, actually, even if he's out here alone 1v3. He did get an anchor right there on Coco, and that is going to be Coco going down straight up. And that's going to be it for that. So 2 kills on the red side, 2 kills on the blue side, things looking pretty even. And overall, like, push is relatively even. I mean, there's more damage on the red side, but I think that was just a little bit more opportune.
It's a weird place for Roach Cake.
Yeah, that was right there. He was a little bit overextended, and Frog almost did go down. I think if Fawx had stayed in there a little bit longer, Frog might have gone down as well, because as far as I saw, he was already burned all of his abilities, but that's besides the point at this point. But yeah, I think it's just going to be a little bit of, maybe not footsie knots, but not really a whole lot of playing the objective so far. I think just kind of like some light brawling and seeing what happens, and then maybe eventually when people get a little bit more solo, a little bit more items, they'll be playing a little bit more aggressive, things like that. But what do you see coming out of this Celsi?
Pickoffs are happening. Both teams are just kind of... I'm surprised earlier when Roach Cake was the only one on defense, like they didn't like capitalize on that more, I guess. I don't remember exactly what the conditions were. That was a pretty decent play up for red team
This
right
is
there.
a juicy
This was a
anchors,
lot.
not gonna lie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
usually on Lux too, which is like pretty much the hardest one to kill.
I think it's good to land him on Lux though, because preventing Lux from leaving is like key, because he gets out of situations just ridiculously easy. And I think that's why he got lifesteal on AA, just so he can survive if he does get stuck. Which
Yeah,
I know it hasn't been helping him, but
Yeah,
in
it
theory.
does look like he's going straight survivability. I mean, I'm assuming he's getting those nanobots lifesteal upgrades in replace of regen on his utility row, and he also did get pilled, so he is just right now going for like, please, I'm not gonna die scenarios. But that is gonna compromise his damage. I guess he's hoping to get damage from his team for now. And his team is getting some damage upgrades, so that might be exactly what's going on in that case. Frog gonna be picking up invis right there, hoping for an initiation, probably. Red team just gonna be kind of playing it safe, not really poking out too much. Swing's gonna be going in. And yeah, not too much. Frog's still invis, hoping to maybe catch someone off guard.
Lux can't manage to get behind the enemy red team. That's like, I think he's trying to do that. It's just really hard for him to. He gets punished too easily.
And that's kind of the thing that I was mentioning, where like I feel like if you play Lux right, you can do it like no matter what team it is. But in this kind of like competitive scene where all 3 characters have a stun, it's going to be pretty difficult to pull that off, just getting behind them and getting an actual good initiation on them.
You might want to build missiles actually if he's having problems going in and stuff. It's probably his best bet, to be honest, to get any damage.
No, I would agree in this case. I mean, building missiles isn't really that great because it doesn't. It's kind of the difference between a lot of poke damage or like a lot of like effective damage kind of thing. Just because missiles don't do a whole lot. If you can land, you know, more than 2 of them, you're pretty much set. But it's pretty difficult to do that. You know, just in a scenario right there where Coco can just ignore the hook, but Frog is going to be going down.
It was good amp from Penny earlier to get that kill on Frog. Pretty much any 4-charge amp on Frog at any point in time, it's going to be brutal. Like,
yeah, she did also pick up silence. Oh, there's going to be a good charge right there on Swiggins right there to actually get that kill. Danger Pin's going to be finishing him off there as well.
Oh, no, good call on Roach Cake being there in the first place.
Yeah, he was a little overextended. He wasn't exactly full health there. I think it was like about half health, and the droids were already dying. So he should have probably backed out earlier than he did there. But yeah, I did want to point out that silence on Penny is probably going to go a long way, especially towards Frog. Like, you know, Pulse already does a pretty good chunk of damage, but then also silencing Frog, you know, restricting his escape patterns are going to be pretty key right there as well. So for instance, right there, exactly right there, basically what happened right there. He got hooked, anchored, and then couldn't even dash out for invulnerability or anything like that. And it is going to be Big Bob right there not looking so good, and he's going to be going down. So that's 2 for nothing. Yeah, got sandwiched and 2 for nothing trade right there, so giving the red team a good advantage right here. Maybe going to be getting a bit of surge damage at least, because they are a little bit behind in that department, I think.
I think blue team does have opportunities to go in. Red team's kind of throwing out their abilities left and right, things like airstrike and Penny's abilities, which kind of don't matter as much, but Anchor just not being up a lot of the time. They can totally go in on that. They win the brawling, mostly because of Lux and like Coco. Frog, obviously, literally all of them. They brawl better in general, and they could be winning once those abilities are down, but they just don't go in. They don't know when.
One for one trade happened just there, so I mean, just going back and clearing again. The fight, business done.
Yeah, I think that is kind of another thing, because I mean, it hasn't been a low kill match. I mean, total there's been 12 kills between both teams in about a 9-minute match, which is, you know, within the expected range, I think. But it's still, I think they could be pushing their advantage a little bit more, especially like when they got that double kill on the blue team. I think they could have done more turret damage. I mean, I don't really remember seeing much change between before and then. About any structure damage or anything else, or any like map control, even just something as simple as that. And Rochik is going to be looking weak. He's going to be getting out there though, unfortunately.
Going to get help. But all they have is Ted on defense, like effectively. They could be able to like take this turret here if they really wanted. I think.
Yeah.
They can, like Flux could have easily taken the hook damage. It wouldn't have mattered. Coco was there. Could have like balled the anchor or something if that happened. So there's no reason they shouldn't take this turret.
Yeah, really, because I mean, like you're saying, it seems like abilities are coming out left and right. I mean, Ted Airstrike, it's almost like borderline spamming it. Maybe not really, but using it mostly on droids. And as soon as like you see that happen, it's like, okay, well that's down. You should be able to go in, because I mean, like you mentioned, they should have been able to take that top turret earlier. They did eventually, so I mean, it might not matter, but it's something to think about if we're gonna be looking to.
Froggy getting beat cam, and it's an interesting pickup. Usually, I don't see frogs get beat cam, but. What do you guys think about that?
I think that's an interesting pick, honestly. I think it might just be exclusively for the amp damage and the silence coming out from Penny. Because really, it's nothing else. BKM against stun pack on Ted is borderline useless, and it doesn't really affect him.
Oh my.
Yeah, that was a bad dash, and
They
frankly...
still came out on top. Interesting.
Yeah. It was interesting. I mean, like, Froggy, in my opinion, should have definitely gone down there, and Roach Cake, that was an interesting route to take, in my opinion, just kind of going through that.
Good airstrike, getting Felix Frog.
Yeah, that was a good airstrike right there. But yeah, the moment that Frog dashed in and missed, Roach Cake on the Swigs should have definitely just, like, hooked, anchored him, and been a dead Frog, honestly. But he kind of, like, missed that initiation. It was kind of, like, a little bit of misplays, in my opinion, just in that team pair right there. But overall, it turned out to be a 1-for-1 trade, so there's going to be that going for him. And I do want to point out, Lux still going for this survivability thing. He did get that shield upgrade on auto attack, that when you use a charge of barrage and then gets your third auto attack, you just get a shield that absorbs a lot of damage. So yeah, he's still going for the please don't kill me scenario so far. And there's going to be Roach Cake right there on that side. Yeah, I think I've gotten it before, and I don't think it's that necessary, honestly. If you're
I
going,
really like the upgrade. When I used to play that character, I'd get it all the time, and it's fine. But like, does he really need to be building like that right now?
Yeah, I think he's missing out on a lot of damage. Really, the only damage he has is if one, they get a pin on someone, which is already difficult to do since, like I said, the 3 characters that he's going up against has a stun. Or danger pins, which is good damage, don't get me wrong, but it's not going to be a common finishing move, or it's a lot of damage, or it's like just a little bit extra damage where you might not have had it before. And that's about it.
Should be killing Coco. Yep.
Yeah, and that is. He just got jammed in the jump pad and it's going to do that. Frog going to be getting out with barely anything at all. And see, that's exactly what I'm talking about. He got a pin right there on Ted. Had Ted not had a stun pack, frankly, I think Ted would have been gone. But just simply stunned out of it. Danger pins got off, and that's all the damage that he got. And now Ted is just looking just peachy. Honestly, didn't even go back for health.
We've seen Red win fights before when they're all together, but I think a lot of kills are being missed out on because either like one of them isn't there, or it's just like 1v1 or something like that. When like pickoffs could be happening, and I think they're missing out a lot because of that. There was one point earlier where an initiation happened, and all Ted did was use an airstrike, which hit, but he wasn't there to support it, so nothing.
You're right.
Yeah, for blue team's characters, I'd say their pushing power is, doing a pretty good job. At the beginning of the game, I would have said red team had better push because of that Ted, but blue team's on their way to getting that second turret down.
Yeah, I think it is a little bit more of like, if I had to say anything, I think one thing that I would say, like as if I'm like a teacher or something like this, but like is try to push advantages a little bit more when you have them. Like, I mean, if you see, especially like Lux, someone who I haven't seen use their missiles a whole lot. I mean, on this map it's a little awkward to use missiles for a lot of poke because hold on a second, I thought that was gonna be Coco going down, not quite. Fawx is going to be caught out, way out of position right here.
He should die here.
He is not going to, it looks, at all. Or maybe, I mean, no, the health spawned on him, and he's fine.
Oh, he almost got it.
Little penny privilege right there.
Yeah.
A little bit right there. But yeah, what I was going to say, basically, is like, I think pushing the advantages, especially on your characters, a little bit more. I'm not seeing a whole lot of poke damage.
Doing it here.
Yep, they're just going to tank after it.
Yeah, I guess that was it. I guess I was just referring specifically to like poke damage from the Lux.
Teams can do something here, honestly. They're all less than half.
That's pretty low. It looks like abilities have been burned. Fog.
It looks like it might have been a communication error.
That should have been Frog dead right there. Honestly, I don't know if he's gonna get it. Yeah, a couple of things. Honestly, even like a couple more auto attacks, he'd have been gone.
Lux is proving very difficult to kill at this point. He's got so much health. They're at level 11. Shield.
Yeah, they do have the level advantage right now. He is starting to get damage. I do see both of his auto attack damage upgrades coming out on him. So Brawl ability is going to be definitely going towards Lux, at least for now. And we'll see what happens after that. Because I mean, if that's his whole thing, I mean, Lux, one of the things about him is that he's not entirely dependent on his skills. He has some good skills. I mean, charge especially can prove very, very useful. But when it comes to brawling, I almost find it difficult to give it to anyone else in the game outright, except for like Ix, which is irrelevant in this tournament and things like that. But just in terms of survivability and being able to dish out damage, he has one of the best in the game, in my opinion.
Yeah. Ted got double airstrike. I just noticed this. This was his last upgrade, which I never see Ted's get that anymore. It used to be a thing, and even when I did see double airstrike, it was like they'd get stunned just to be, you know, a harasser. But he's gotten dot and damage, which I don't know if I agree with, but might see if that works out for him late game.
Just against this comp specifically, double airstrike is not a very good idea.
Right. I mean, yeah, if you get double airstrike, I think if you don't get stun, you need to get the health packs, just so you're being support. That was a nice double kill.
That was a nice double kill from a single ball right there. That was a good team fight, I would say. I mean, like I said, pushing advantages, all skills were down, and then they actually used their brawl ability to get Swiggins almost down. He left with about a bar, and then finally getting a couple of other abilities off, finally getting that cooldown from the ball and getting that nice double kill on that. So that is our bottom turret going down right there.
They could have pushed objective, I think, for at least a little bit.
Yeah, at least a little bit of harass, potentially. I think it would have been risky, honestly, looking at the timers and things like that. But they might have been able to get away with it. I do think it's like kind of being a little bit conservative in that
Yeah, now you say that. It would have been like mostly pointless, I think.
Yeah, like I think like
the only came back, it would have been like a bar at most.
Yeah, at most. And there you go. Yeah, Lux is gonna be no, never mind. I didn't say Frog. I thought it was gonna be alone out here just defending 1v3. It was like, you know, I know that you got a lot of push and a lot of map advantage right now, but I don't really agree with like 2 people leaving.
Coco's got a whole lot of items. You got like the mobility on her Blaze, which is by far her best upgrade for middle click. And
17 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. That's usually an early game item. So I think their whole blue team has either escapability or unkillable. Like Lux is almost nearly unkillable at this point, and both Frog has cooldown on dash, so he can just leave whenever he wants essentially, and Coco can now leave whenever she wants. So those kills really need to be done by red team early game, since it's gonna be extremely hard to get these kills now.
No,
yeah, if they played more cohesively as like a team and like went in on those roach kick punishes earlier, it would have been pretty significant in like the difference between then and now.
Skill difference right now is 11 for red team, 14 for blue team. So it's not like hugely different, but since those turrets have been down, level difference is by 1, which makes a huge difference.
No, it does. This late in the game, that little bit of damage, that little bit of health can mean the difference a lot of the time. And yeah, we're just going to be seeing a little bit of clearing for now. Nothing really too exciting so far. Penny getting just straight damage for the last couple of upgrades. And Swiggins piggying this late in the game for his second auto attack. How do you feel about that?
You shouldn't have done that.
No.
Yeah, I think that's as far as it goes. It's a little strange. They are a little bit on their heels, but I don't think really like pigging into. Whenever you piggy, I feel like, you know, for my qualms against piggy or whatever, I understand when people do it for like necessary upgrades or like mechanical change upgrades. I don't think you should be pigging for a second auto attack damage upgrade. I think that's a little strange in my opinion. And there is going to be a penny going down right there.
And Roach Cake is way off. And
I think
how about a little merry-go-round?
You did a good job.
Felix died.
That was good.
Oh! Is he a god? No.
No,
he didn't get off. And you know what? No, do you know what's sad about this scenario? He didn't even get the health marker on the map for the turret. I'm sure he did some damage, but it didn't even show up on the map. That's a little sad to me. Yeah, I think most people. Oh yeah, there you go. He's not.
That's the only way I can see them coming back.
Yeah, really. I mean, you might as well piggy into that if nothing else, honestly.
So I've been looking at Ted's build a lot. Sorry, Snipely, I'm keeping my eye on you. But you got knockback on A, which I hate to pick on you, but I don't understand at this point. Like, maybe you're just freaking out, kind of like, okay, we gotta stop this push. In that sense, okay, I kind of understand that, or kind of keep Lux away from you. But Ted's supposed to be a major damage character, and I don't really see any of that coming out.
Well, that's a good much like there on Frog. It's only going to be Ted doing that. Oh, there you go.
Didn't get a pick. Snipely went back in for a reason, and he traded, so...
so okay. I guess it's gonna be 2 for 1 in this scenario. Lux gonna be looking for a kill on this Penny though. Roach Cake is gonna be coming in to try to support though, and I mean it's a full health Lux against 2 like half health characters. So, I mean it could be even in that situation. Who knows? I mean he has built a lot of survivability, but we'll see. Still gonna be just defending right here. He's looking for that initiation right there. Like I said, gonna be stunned out of his charge, and that was a
He shouldn't have here. Yeah, that was like what like.
Yeah, he shouldn't have done that. Like I said, going to 2 stunning characters with a charge as an opening move, poor choice in my opinion. But
they're actually at the same level again, so this might be a comeback for Red Team if they can get their stuff together and get this turret down, make some good purchases, stick together. They're still in this.
Interesting use of airstrikes. I mean, I don't play Ted a whole lot, but I mean, I do see like the whole. I don't know about just kind of using abilities willy-nilly. That top turret was going down no matter what. Even if the entire red team showed up, that had enough damage to just take it out at that point. And he was just kind of like use both of his airstrikes right there. Maybe as like a kind of like non-sarcastically. I mean, I say this, but like as like a mind game thing of like, oh, we can't go in kind of thing. But it still seemed odd in my opinion. But that's a little nitpick of mine.
Double strike is a major hindrance, I think, more than it helps at this point. Like, I guess for clear, but like, you lose so much burst from that, I think.
I agree. I think maybe on one hand, they're thinking, he might be thinking it's like, well, if you land both of them, it's more damage. But 2, because they're such mobile characters, it's not likely to you hit the first one. So if you put all your eggs in one basket, maybe the second one will hit and things like that.
Felix putting in work. You got that those tweeters off and got that sick dash.
Yeah, that was actually
Ted. So this might be it for Red Team.
Yeah, it is
getting a second stage of knockback. Oh no, that's not knockback. That's grenades.
So he's building for defense. That's what he's trying to.
Pushing people back into the grenades just to keep them away from the base, which I understand, but I think if he would have gotten damage early game, he would have made a way better difference on following up like Swing's anchors.
Second machine's basically got this in the bag.
And he's trying to go for it.
We'll see. I mean, everyone's pretty low. Lux right there gonna be just leaving. Okay, everyone's just leaving at this point. Sniper League.
They're really staggered right now. So.
Yep.
They are staggered. Yeah. So Swings went down at a very interesting time.
Going in. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I know you're Penny. Penny's pretty good, but I mean, against a team of these characters.
No matter how low the enemy is, I don't think you should be going in 1v3 at any point. And Sniper League just kind of letting the push happen.
There it is.
Yeah, that was a little interesting. But yeah, that is going to be a win in favor of the blue team in favor of I forgot their team name.
Favorite Game of Thrones. Oh no, Meme Machine.
That's what I thought it was Game of Thrones, but I was like
said in favor of it. Thought you would forget Game of Thrones. Anyway, I think they just got outplayed, maybe, or like the characters made more of an impact. Blue team's characters made more of an impact than they really should have, just because red team didn't play their comp to its maximum potential.
I do agree with that, since I mean, even when we were talking at the draft, it was like I would kind of give it to the red team in this case, because they have like a lot of stuns to be able to shut down Lux, and kind of like lockdown to shut down Frog, and like Coco is okay, but at that point, if you already have 2 sort of counters to your characters, it's going to be rough to go at that. And yeah, I kind of agree that it's kind of as simple as they got outplayed and definitely outfarmed. I mean, I'm just looking at the solar totals at the end. Coco ended with about 2,800 solar. The next person on the other team was about 2,300. That was Ted. So, there's a couple upgrades that they were short on, things like that. But I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is, and blue team won.
Yeah,
the way both teams played, the blue team just won the long game.
Yeah, the main thing that I mostly focused on this entire match was the item spot. Like, I mean, I've played this game for a long time, but there are a lot of things that were purchased this game were not meta, which is I'm perfectly fine with that. I just don't understand why they were purchased like on both sides. What it turns out, I mean, it worked out better for blue team. Like Lux's build was really odd. It was really sustain based, and it worked out from the end. He died early game and then never died late game. Ted kind of went for like full defense, which is like the opposite of what you would see in like a pub game, where they just go all out. Attack damage. I mean, Swiggins only bought 1 stage of damage on Anchor, and then we're right into like Anchor drop, and then AA, and then that's when we saw the piggy into the AA, and then
it was kind of like Yeah,
So-
a lot of the builds were a little all over the place. The only one that I'd say was like pretty on point overall is Frogs, I guess. It's like he kind of knew what he was doing overall, and Coco, I guess, to a certain extent, although I don't really
Penny's
know
was
so
good
much
too.
about Coco play.
Yeah, Penny's was good. More of like he went right into silence, just kind of prevent them from doing anything, which somewhat worked.
It was like run of the mill. It wasn't
Yeah.
like
Just
it
amp
totally good.
Yeah.
All right then, but that's gonna be wrapping it up for this segment right here. I will be casting a little bit later, but you guys are gonna be done for the day. Do you guys have any closing statements for you? Want to pimp your streams? You want to do anything else?
Twitch.tv SLT. That's SELTYY with
Yeah,
two Y's.
we all stream, so might as well plug those. You can catch me at twitch.tv/holla holla dollar dollar.
You just can't get enough.
That's it.
Catch our
Please follow me.